Society tells us that successful men should suppress their emotions, and it's dead wrong. In this video, I'll show you how you can weaponize anger, rejection, lust, and loneliness to fuel your growth and success. So, I've been surrounded by proponents of hustle culture for more than half a decade now, and as a man, and moreover so as an entrepreneur, we are encouraged to push off our emotions and just hustle harder on the goals, right? And I used to be that guy. I used to just suppress my emotions and bottle them up until it would just randomly burst on some person. My tipping point was really dangerously low. So one day I just chanced upon this podcast. This is called the Man Enough podcast, and the recent episode was about suppressing emotions and how it is bad for you. So I watched that episode full, like it was an hour and a half episode, and I realized that this is actually not manly to just suppress your emotions and then burst out on someone randomly, right? It's not manly enough, and it's also holding me back because I can use these emotions to fuel my growth. So I started learning about how I can use these emotions towards my growth, and in this video I'll show you exactly how you can do that through the personal framework that I've developed, and we look into lust, anger, rejection, and loneliness. Remember, a Vajra mind is unshakable by emotions. So let's deep dive right in. Okay, so what is emotions? Emotions is energy in motion. So it's basically raw energy which manifests through different kinds of expression. Most men are not able to control this. Most men are told by society that, don't be too emotional, and this they interpret as like, okay, now emotions I don't have to use, whenever they come I'll just suppress them or just keep the frustration inside me. It's man's job to just man up and keep all the emotions to yourself and just do the work. It's not like that. Most men mishandle their emotions, and that's what turns into like destructive expressions such as fighting each other out or addictions or stuff like that, right? So the cost of emotional mismanagement is really high, and you don't want to pay that. That's why one of the pillars on this channel is emotional intelligence, and we'll go into many videos of that later, so you can subscribe for that if you want. And you need to understand that when emotional energy is channeled properly, when you are working towards something and you are emotionally anchored about what you want to do, your why would be really clear, that I want to do this because I want to feel like this. And whenever you feel like an emotion is tied, I want to feel happy, I want to feel that and this. But we forget to think about the negative expressions of emotions, right? And they can be used as a brilliant form of energy to fuel your growth. So let's start with anger. So what's the biological purpose of anger? It's actually activation energy for change. If the cavemen didn't get angry with the boring situation inside the cave, they wouldn't have ever stepped out, right? So we become angry when we want to change something, okay, and something that does not feel right to us. We have that anger inside of us. Most people don't show this anger, but it is building up inside them, that they want to change something, their situations, their poor habits, their poor mindsets, but they're not able to. So all this frustration bottles up inside their mind. There are two expressions of anger. First is destructive expression and second is constructive. Most people engage with the destructive one, that they have bottled up so much anger that they burst out on some random person, they will punch them or just get in a fight or break something or self-harm even. So that is the destructive expression. We don't want to get into that. You need to go into the positive expression. And let me tell you a story of how I learned the positive expression of anger. So I had this really good friend in 7th or 8th class, and I used to visit his home very often, and we were both big fans of Harry Potter, right? So we had this obsession of making wands. We used to go into the woods, pick out the perfect specimen of wood and work for hours to make a perfect wand. One day I went to his home and I found that he had made a 13-inch long elder wand, something. By fluke, I sat on that wand and it broke in half. He was furious, and I was feeling so guilty that he has worked on this for like 7-8 hours straight, and I just stupidly sat on it and broke, right? So he didn't say a word to me. He instantly started cleaning his room. I was confused at what are you doing? And he was doing it very furiously. Like I could see his anger when he was lifting things up or like brushing things up. And I realized, oh, this is how you channel your anger towards something productive or something that is gathering dust on your to-do list, but you just can't get yourself to do it. Now use that frustration and anger to do it. I was like, oh my god, he's teaching me something. That when you are angry at your friends, you don't start just shouting on them or thinking in mind how I can tell him the perfect argumentation or just cuss him with the most ingenious curses so that he feels bad about himself. Instead of that, use that anger to do something which is on your to-do list. Just remember, we need to be impatient with our actions and patient with our results. So we can use that anger to fuel in our impatient action. Second, rejection. 99% of the people are too soft to handle rejections, but not with a person with a Vajra mind. So rejection, whenever you get rejection, you should be very happy about it because it can totally reinvent your life. And this is not just about romantic rejections, right? Rejection from a job, rejection from getting a position that you wanted inside your clubs or something like that. So whenever you face a rejection, you need that feeling of failure to reinvent yourself into someone that they can't say no to. So there are three things that can happen. First, the failure breaks you and you feel like worthless and you are doubting yourself even more. Second, you can fuel yourself with that rejection and saying that, oh, I'll now become so good that they can't ignore me. Or third, you can be totally unaffected by it and be totally stoic about it. That is an advanced stage. We get to talk about that later. But now we're talking about the second stage. How to use this rejection to fuel your growth. Now, personally, when I feel rejected, I feel good about it because that person wasn't worth my time, that opportunity wasn't worth my time, and God saved me from that. Let me work so hard right now that I will get an opportunity better than him, a person better than her. So, that is how you channel it. It can be childish to think that, oh, now I'll take revenge and I feel satisfaction after doing that. But actually, the best revenge isn't getting back at them, it's becoming someone they can never have. So, that is a powerful statement. You can note it down in your diary or something. And now we'll talk about something which no one talks about. I've been surrounded with the culture of self improvement, personal development, hustling, and all. But really few people talk about this sexual transmutation. If you have read Think and Grow Rich, there is a full chapter about how you can use your sexual energy to make more money. Basically, the sexual energy is one of the highest vibration mode of our brain, and this energy can be used as a huge creative power. But most of the men in their peak window are wasting it towards like hookup cultures or like short-term relationships that they get on Tinder and all. It's a huge waste of time and a super huge waste of energy. This awesome, pure sexual energy can be used to direct towards creative field. It gives you so much power when harnessed, but most people are not aware about it and they just mindlessly waste it. So you all might be aware about the connection between testosterone, drive, and execution, but most people are using it for the wrong things, chasing like girlfriends who will just break up with them in like 1 or 2 years or stuff like that. So it's a huge thing when to date, when to not date. Maybe we'll talk about it in depth in one of our live streams inside our community, so you can check that out. But it is closing at 50 members, so better be fast. Most of the great men in history have used this sexual power. Elon Musk also says that you should only get into sexual intercourse if you want to have children, right? You will gain a lot of creative power, energy, and drive if you don't use your sexual energy for the usual things that Gen Z boys do, but use it towards creative energy and towards execution. So, one example I can give you of how to do this is what I learned from a mentor in the gym. So, what he does is whenever he sees a hot woman and he says, oh, we could have been a good match, but I just don't have that much muscle, and that woman is much more hotter than I am. So he uses it as a fuel to work out harder and become like more hot. So I know this is a little childish, and it doesn't fit in well, but this sexual energy should be used for healthier expressions rather than negative expressions. And when you use it like this, you're much better than wasting it in other pursuits that people do. So let's move to loneliness now. Loneliness is one of the biggest epidemic, and people feel lonely so much more with the advent of social media, which has become anti-social media. And when the phone was tied to a wire, humans were free. Now we are not. It should send chills down your spine that you are giving more of your social time to your phone rather than the people, right? So real life connection is getting diminished. But what happens when you use the loneliness as a fuel towards your growth? So you can think of it like the friends who left you or are not talking to you, aren't checking up on you, aren't video calling you and stuff like that. They have left you so that you can have space and time to become someone that they will now chase to get a hold of, right? Being abandoned by fake friends is a great gift actually. You can use that empty space and time to work towards your goals. Obviously, you should not be 100% lonely throughout the day. It is harmful for you. You can make 3 4 great friends and catch up with them every day, make them your accountability buddies, or you can even join the community for a brotherhood of like 50 people. We are limiting the cohort size to 50. So I am giving you an option from being lonely to build a brotherhood of high performers. So you can check that out. Alright, so the key mindset that I want you to have is go from they left me to they can't keep up with the pace that I was improving. So they can't keep up, they were left behind, I got ahead. That is how you think about this loneliness problem. And it's alright, there will be a period of loneliness that you will have to go through to reach a level where you are friends with just high performers and millionaires, right? If you're serious about using all these emotions towards execution and building a brotherhood of high performers, just check out the link in description of my community. And I hope this video was really valuable to you. I will be making more videos about emotional intelligence. So subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you in the next one.